My friend's car looks terrible because we just came home from another dog tournament in Belgium. That means we have a longer drive behind us. It is now also autumn, which traditionally means there is more dirt on the car anyway. And with that, this is the perfect opportunity to test washing tools for you again. Why? Because especially in autumn and winter, when it is cold, we might not really feel like using our hands with a wash mitt in the wash bucket, especially when it is cold outside, particularly when the wash station doesn't have warm water. And also large cars. And with large cars, it is almost impossible for us to reach them by hand. Well, I mean, Sebastian always had more problems than I did because Sebastian, I affectionately call him the car care T-Rex, has a bit shorter arms, is a bit stockier, so he doesn't quite reach up there as well as I do, but I also reach my limits here, and that's why these washing mops are extremely popular among you. And because we also occasionally conduct comparison tests on this channel and want to take a close look at whether there are differences between the various options, I have two here. Here is the newer variant from chemicalworkz, the Microfiber Mod, and one from Microfiber Madness, the so-called Incredipole. In this video, we will simply take a look together at what you get here, what it costs, what the features are, and how these two items perform when washing the car. Let's start with a comparison of the bare numbers. And I believe that for most of you, the most important thing will be, well, how do I get up onto the roof of such a large car, for example? That's why I have now fully extended both mops or poles. And then we can see that the one from Microfiber Madness is a little bit, I would estimate, about 10 centimeters, a little bit longer. That's bigger than mine. Let's not go there. And what adds to it may be important for some of you, less so for me now, but Microfiber Madness has two clips that need to be released here. And with the variant from chemicalworkz, there is a clamp that you need to release, and then it is more compactly assembled. When they are summarized, then amusingly you see down there, wait, I'll hold it up for you. The pole from chemicalworkz is a bit longer. Be aware of your presentation. Ultimately, one must say that the Microfiber Madness in the maximum version is a bit longer and a bit more compact. In the short version, and I believe we don't need to summarize much more at this point. Next important point, how easy or difficult is it to put the microfiber cover over the washing mop here? Let's start with the variant from Microfiber Madness. Here it is important to know that we have a Velcro fastener here, and we have the corresponding counterpart. That means we have to put it on the right way so that in the end we can get around it here again. That means like this. You can see that it's not exactly easy because the microfiber cover is not elastic and also not. So the cuffs are a bit elastic, but to ensure that it sits properly and snugly later on, you really have to push it in a bit. Maybe that's the wrong word and sounds harsher than it is. You really have to push it in and press it down. So then you press everything down here. And then you're done. I set this one aside, grab the mop from chemicalworkz, and now you can already see a difference. This one from Microfiber Madness is rectangular. Here we have a trapezoid shape. So now I take this one, and it is also important here. Sorry, my voice is a bit strained, that you press it in the right way. This is due to the trapezoid shape. The only small problem is that you can't quite see the microfiber cover where the long leg of the trapezoid is. I'll just give it a try. Yes, I just got lucky, yeah? What you can remember is that where the Velcro is attached to the microfiber, that is the long side, and where the tabs are, that is the short side. And this way you might be able to remember it a bit for the future. And you can already see here we have the Velcro on the cover and not on the head of the mop. And then you combine the two here. And then you have done that as well. This is how it works, to attach the attachments here. So you have seen that it works well for both. With both, it is a bit fiddly, but it has to be that way so that these covers stay on and don't fly off somehow. From my perspective, both hold up equally well. There are hardly any differences for me, Or let's put it this way, no differences that would be worth discussing at this point. In terms of size, one must say that they are nearly identical. They are almost the same. So right now, from the assembly of the attachments, there are no significant differences in the attachments themselves. However, from my perspective, there is already an important difference when you buy the kit from Microfiber Madness. You get the pole with the head and a microfiber attachment. When you buy the kit from chemicalworkz, you get the pole, the head, and 2 microfiber attachments, namely this one with the classic plush fiber in trendy white turquoise and another with chenille fiber in gray. Another important difference with Microfiber Madness is that it is currently a bit, how should I put it, more modular. One can only buy the pole, one can only buy the head, one can only buy the attachments, or one can buy the whole kit at chemicalworkz. At the moment, it is such that one can only buy the kit 2001. What I already know, however, is that the attachments will definitely be available separately in the future. So from that, we already know what the equipment is, what the dimensions are, and how to attach these rods here. And now let's address a small but possibly already important difference. Both heads are flexible. We have a joint here that allows it to be flexible in both this direction and that direction in 2021, with the variant from Microfiber Madness. Well, we have that with the chemicalworkz variant too. So this one is also very flexible, but we have a button here. When I press it, bam, you can see that it is blocked now, and then it is only this flexible. Whether this will make a huge difference when washing later or not, we will see shortly. The nice thing about my regular car wash box in Füllinsdorf near Basel at TCS in Switzerland is that you can have the wash bay filled up. And right now in autumn or later in winter, with warm water, that is incredibly pleasant. It's simple. It's great. That is a luxury that not everyone has. I am fully aware of that. But I am already preparing the wash buckets here for the later washing. We naturally start with the wheel cleaning, and then we take my personal and current favorite among wheel cleaners, which is the drumroll Sonax Red Max. Why? Because he is, among other things, the one who sprays the finest with different spray bottles, when there is still enough left in the bottle, and because the cleaning performance combined with material compatibility is simply outstanding as we know it from Sonax, well, I will do this on all 4 wheels and then it will be time for the pre-wash. For the pre-cleaning, I use the Sonax Multi-Clean Alkaline in the IK sprayer, which I am currently testing for you. Foam sprayer, not pump sprayer, sorry. Now here in the IK sprayer, because I wanted to try this out, in the future there will be a video about Sonax Multi-Clean Alkaline, where we will delve a bit more into it. I also wanted to try out how well it works as foam in the foam spraying of the foam cannon, etc., since it is important for many how well a pre-cleaner works not only in a pump sprayer or spray bottle but also as foam. I will now prepare the entire car. After that, we will rinse it off and then it will be time for the wash. As you can see, there is a rectangular wash bucket here. In my opinion, this is the best wash bucket for such a wash brush because it allows you to get in there the best. But I didn't take 2 without reason, as I wanted to test for you whether there are differences in how well or poorly these wash brushes fit into a wash bucket. And we will take a look at that now. It's mainly about the round one, because I believe I don't need to show you that in such a rectangular one. The one from chemicalworkz fits in very, very well. In the rounds as well. Look, this works well. And this is despite the fact that we have the so-called scrub wall from DetailingSchool here, which is an additional side wall for the dirt trap that is at the bottom, which does take up a bit of space in the wash bucket, but you can still get in here quite well. And above all, the nice thing about the scrubble is that you can also easily rinse out the wash brush. Let's see how well this fits with Microfiber Madness. Logically, it fits well in the rectangular one. Now let's see how it looks here. Yes, it works just as well. That was to be expected. We have nearly the same dimensions. So, at least for the moment, there is actually nothing to criticize about either. So, now for the actual wash, I am using an exotic among car shampoos, the leather from Autopflege, specifically in the hazelnut whip variant. It's no longer available for purchase like that. It used to be. Autopflege is a manufacturer that occasionally comes out with these different scent variations of the shampoo and snow foams. Just keep an eye out. Eventually, it will definitely be available again. It's simply incredibly delicious scent, like a hazelnut pudding aroma. So, I'm going to add a good shot of it into both wash buckets. Now, and then we can start with the actual washing. Now, with these wash brushes, it's mainly about the roof and the side panels, and that's why this is the perfect car to test it on. I'll foam up the shampoo a bit more. Very good. And then I start here on the side with the Incredipole from Microfiber Madness, and see or hear that a motorcyclist over there is still having fun, even though it is already autumn and cold. But I also see that I can actually reach very, very well to the other end of the roof. So the length definitely fits. So now, as is proper for a good, sensible hand washer, rinse out in between. This is always something that is often forgotten with these wash poles, that the principles of car care are not set aside here. We still need to rinse out in between. And yes, it's not a 2-bucket wash now, it's one. There's a bit more risk of scratches. But since I have to polish the car again soon, anyway, I can accept that for now. So, what is also very, very good, and what I like, is that the microfiber attachment goes all the way around. That means I have no risk of bumping my head against something and causing scratches. The metal rod is a metal rod, this here is plastic. Yes, I have to be a little careful. But to be honest, that's just the nature of the matter. Use and Microfiber Madness can't do anything about that. It's simply a matter of personal responsibility. The manufacturers are still allowed to leave it to us when it comes to such matters. But I think it has turned around briefly now. Okay? This works wonderfully, so far there is absolutely nothing to criticize. It works. It works very well. The pronounced length has not caused the pole to bend in any way. It is not wobbly at all. It is very, very, very stable. So in that regard, it is indeed robust, and it is also built with high quality, the whole thing, 2001. And you see that works. You can do it. And above all, you can also do it here on the sides now. I have now simply combined 2 poles into one position. And it works very well. And is very pleasant. And now I can pull apart for the lower areas of the car. Again. And then I can effectively wash here. Thanks to JP, who built us a wash bucket that is exactly for this purpose. Here, I can wash effectively without bending down. It works really, really, really well with such a pole. What must be said fairly, but this applies not only to those from Microfiber Madness, but to all washing poles. With something like this, you reach your limits. That's just how it is. I could try to somehow fit it in here, but from my perspective, a washing pole does not completely replace the washing mitts. That's just how it is. Back to the topic. How well did the credit pole from Microfiber Madness work? Very good. Other side of the car. We start washing with the chemical guy's brush. You see, to be completely honest, this might be a bit petty of me to say, but from my perspective, it is an advantage. I only need to loosen one clamp here to adjust the length of the pole instead of 2. But I must say, that's really nitpicky. But such things should also be mentioned in a proper test. So, let's see if the 10 cm shorter length makes a difference when washing this rather large roof.
Does size count at all, or is that just some weird thing guys think about? All right, you see, this is where Jean and I always get into a heated debate. I like them when they're really big, and I think it's better when they're enormous.
No, to be honest, I believe that given the overall length that both have, it makes no difference now with the car. Where it will definitely make a difference is with even larger vehicles, such as caravans, motorhomes, trucks, and buses. It might have an influence, that I have an additional 10 centimeters with the Microfiber Madness Incredipole in the end. That needs to be noted. But even with chemical guys, nothing bends here. It is also stable, nothing wobbles. So the difference between having two connectors or one is not significant. Both work wonderfully and well. I also don't notice any difference in the gliding behavior now, because there are indeed different, microfiber fibers or attachments on the front. And especially with Microfiber Madness, there is always an argument that it glides particularly well. It glides especially well. That's not the case. But I don't think it glides significantly better than the microfiber from chemical guys here. In fact, it doesn't glide better at all. Both glide equally well. It always varies whether we have a sealed paint or not, what kind of shampoo we use, and so on. So you can just forget what I just said. I note that both slide very well. So now I have made them shorter again. As I said, it works with one click instead of two. And now I can wash here. Let's see, have I fixed it now or not? I will play around a bit with this fixation here to better understand when it is an advantage and whether it is, because so far I haven't quite recognized it. So right now it's a disadvantage if I want to go in here, because I can't bend it now. I have to loosen it. So when I want to use them again, I just click them back in and continue washing. Again, greetings to JP. You send car care, car washing, without having to bend down. A wink, of course. This is not meant to be taken badly. Yes, it absolutely works. Works very well. From my perspective, it works just as well as the one from Microfiber Madness. Let's continue here on the hood. We are washing again with the Microfiber Madness variant, including windows, especially flat windows, particularly on such large vehicles. That's just how it is. To be honest, if you have such a large vehicle, a wash mitt like this is almost a must-buy in my opinion. Because when I think about it now, I have to step on the tire here, and I have to open the door and step on the running boards to somehow get up there. No, I find this much more pleasant. Other side, we are back at chemicalworkz. By the way, here, this is metal, this is plastic. There is even something rubberized here. I must say I like that. The Microfiber Madness doesn't have that. Here is another rubberized pad for the hands, and at the back, that is a softer plastic. But even here, I don't feel that one is better. So did you hear that? You just have to be careful not to close it. That's how it is. But it's exactly the same with Microfiber Madness. And you can't really hold that against either brush. 2001, you just have to be careful. Everything always comes with pros and cons. And that is one of the disadvantages of these mops here. But again, both work equally well here. However, it must be said that this additional handle on the one from chemicalworkz is a small plus point. So, to be completely honest, we really don't need to say much more about it. We don't have to make a science out of it. I know this might sound a bit blasphemous coming from me because I like to turn many things into a science, but these are wash mitts, these are wash mops. They are designed to make our work on tall and large vehicles easier. And that is the conclusion. Both definitely do that. Now, this is certainly not the only car on which I have used and compared the two. And one thing I noticed, not necessarily while washing, but in the, how should I put it? In the disassembly then. In the variant from chemicalworkz, there is foam because we always have microfiber, and underneath that is the foam. The foam is what the shampoo stores and then releases when you go over the paint. The foam is contained within the microfiber, and the rod is simply the rod. With Microfiber Madness, it's a little different. Here we have the cover that we can take off. In my opinion, if anything, I honestly don't want to just cut it open now, because we shouldn't damage anything that is still intact. If anything, there is only a very, very thin foam. To be honest, I don't think there's anything inside. This results in the cover being a bit more flexible, which ultimately makes it a little easier for us to pull it over the top of the pole. Just a little bit. But it's not as if the other one from chemicalworkz is bad. Not at all. But that's a difference because the foam is on the top of the pole here. Do you see the blue part here? Honestly, I don't know which is better right now because, as always, everything has its pros and cons. 2001. As long as the foam stays on the top of the pole, everything is fine. And then this might even be the better option. As long as that is the case. I mean, I've had the pole for about 4 or 5 years now, and the foam is holding up, but it's starting to come off at the edges. Or rather, one must mention again that there is a Velcro strap down there, through which it can be reattached repeatedly. So you could possibly take it off and replace it, and you can also get the heads separately. On the other hand, one could just as well say that if it starts to come off here, or if the Velcro at the back of the head is no longer attached for any reason or comes loose, then that is probably the better option. So what's bad or better here? To be honest, at first glance, they are simply two different options for how to approach this, and I would leave it at that. So, in conclusion regarding these two mops from Microfiber Madness and chemicalworkz, before we reach the conclusion, we must of course also discuss the price. The set currently available from chemicalworkz, which includes the mop and 2 covers, costs $40. The mop set from Microfiber Madness with a cover costs $60.01, a little bit less. Depending on which cover you choose, as there are 2 different types of microfiber here, the Incredipole material and the daily material. A second cover will cost an additional $15 to $17. That means we simply round up now and end up at $80 when we compare the same, which is double the price. And normally we would say here on this channel, that makes the matter relatively clear, $40, $80. One should actually opt for the cheaper option. Now, it is the case that Microfiber Madness is a manufacturer that says this thing here is made in Germany. However, I am not so sure about the Incredipole material, whether it refers to the microfiber material, the pole, the whole thing, or just parts of it, because I do not know how deep the manufacturing chain is within Germany. But I have to say, if that is something that is important to you, then you can certainly go ahead and get the more expensive one. Therefore, I won't dwell too much on this price here, but I must fairly point out at the end of the day that we are getting something here that works just as well for $40 as this does for $80. Because when washing, to be honest, I couldn't notice any differences. Yes, we have 10 centimeters more here, which might be an advantage for very, very, very large vehicles. For this, we have this button through which we can secure the head. And we also have this additional rubberized handle here, which the Incredipole material does not have. Honestly, I have to say that the handle is definitely an advantage that the Incredipole material does not have. The handles down here are almost identical. I don't see any major differences whether you need this button or not. I didn't need it on this car. However, I can imagine situations, cars and surfaces where this could be quite practical. And I have the mindset of preferring to have it and not need it, rather than needing it and not having it. From that perspective, we also consider this a benefit. That means for half the price, we get something that works just as well for washing, for pure washing, as what cost $80. And we even have 1 or 2 extra features. For this, we ultimately have a bit more length here and can also compact the pole more. And so I believe that now each of you has the information you need to decide which mop you would like to get here. If you found the video helpful, informative, exciting, and interesting, please give us a thumbs up, support the channel with a free subscription, and tune in for the next video. Goodbye.